West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Oh, it's 6 a.m. in the Mile High City. I love that opening.
I do too.
The amount of text messages we get on that one is just fantastic.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's, that 6 a.m. alarm goes off and we're singing the blues.
Yes, we are. Is it really this early?
It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Lots to talk about today. The Rockies GM is out. Meme battles between Republicans and Democrats. Sombreros and kittens. It's the battle of sombreros and kittens. With the Democrats running around going, "Oh, you put us in sombreros. You're such a racist." And then Donald Trump and J.D. Vance doubling down on it. More sombreros and more sombreros. And then the Democrats trying to figure out how to meme, responding with kittens. I don't know if you saw that. But the kitten response.
It's so funny.
Welcome to 2025. We battle via memes. We're going to talk to government.
As if we are all in middle school.
Yeah,
this is great. And you wonder why things are spinning out of control. Wow, this is exactly where the people in charge that are making the laws are now making fun of each other by posting middle school memes. Good job, people. Good job, guys. And
I don't know if we should really throw so much shade.
Oh, the thing is,
because I was making memes of Jared Polis and his frumpiness last night.
The thing for me is that I understand my juvenile nature. I proudly embrace it. Have you heard you choose the news?
But we're also not elected.
Exactly.
And we know our place, Bill.
I know, yes. This is why I always say I should not be elected to anything because I understand the lunacy and idiocy that lives inside of me. That's why I should not be in charge. And that's why I'm allowed to critique those that are, because they're acting like me. That's not good.
Well, I pointed this out when people get very angry about whatever Jeff Hurd votes on. I am not Jeff Hurd, and thankfully, nobody has given me the power to vote on anything. I think we can all feel rest assured that Jeff and Bill will not be voting on anything that will actually affect your life.
Are you ever tempted, though, to start responding back every once in a while?
My favorite is when I get text messages from members of Congress
to
Jeff Hurd. And they end up in my inbox.
I love that.
And people are like, well, what do they say? And I'm like, well, mostly it's just bids for indecent proposal and bribes.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly bribes, and those aren't tax deductible. So what am I supposed to do here?
I kid. No.
That's fantastic.
We're going to talk the government shutdown as it continues into its second day. Who do you blame? And this California loophole on Medicaid sent me down a rabbit hole, because that's really part of the crux of this debate is, can Medicaid be used for illegal immigrants? How California got around this is fascinating. I'll give you all the insight on that. Plus, Colorado adding more and more speed cameras out there. Is this a good way to drive revenue and keep our streets safe, or Big Brother invading your space? We'll get to all of that and more, but now it's time for news and comment with Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Thursday morning. 51 in Denver, expecting a high of 82 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story at Parker man is facing charges after bomb and death threats were made against a local church. Douglas County DA George Brockler.
You can imagine, given what's taken place in current events, to have the allegations that there are bombs at a place of worship, that has to be treated seriously.
Police say 27-year-old Patrick Michael Sparks is accused of targeting Crossroads Community Church, where about 2,000 people worship each weekend. Court records show Sparks, a former attendee, is charged with making the threats through emails and through comments on a church service live stream in August and September, along with stalking and harassment.
You already see, I think, the Democrats cracking a little bit because they realize it's such a preposterous position to say, we're going to shut down TSA, we're going to not pay our troops because you guys won't give us benefits for illegal aliens. It's crazy, and I don't think it's a tenable political situation for them to be in.
VPJD, this ridiculous shutdown enters its second day and could last until tomorrow, with some senators out for Yom Kippur. Here's Jake Tapper trying to help Hakeem Jeffries, or maybe not.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of health care subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is, you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
Or is it? They continue.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants.
A lot of which does.
People who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that?
Oh, but they aren't, but they are. Oh, man. The shutdown isn't expected to impact Colorado in the short term, but state-run programs could feel the effects if it goes beyond a couple of weeks. Colorado is heavily reliant on federal funding, of course. The state is expecting around $14 billion in this year's budget. Over 41,000 people in Colorado are federally employed. At least 4 people are injured after an attack outside a synagogue in Manchester, England this morning on the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. The suspect was reportedly seen driving a vehicle towards the crowd before going on the attack. He failed to gain entry into the synagogue and was shot by armed officers at the scene. Thank God. No one is hurt after a small plane crash landing in the Springs early Wednesday. Air traffic control audio captured the pilot making repeated Mayday calls just minutes after takeoff from the Springs airport around 4 a.m. 4 in the morning.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Air 54, mayday.
Police say the Piper PA-28 struck a couple of power poles but came down without causing any serious damage on Powers Boulevard near Barnes Road. One person had to be treated for injuries after 2 Delta regional jets collided at low speeds while taxiing Wednesday night at LaGuardia. ICE agents will be on hand at the Super Bowl. That word follows the announcement that Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny will headline the halftime show. Homeland Security Advisor Corey Lewandowski said there's nowhere that you can provide a safe haven for people in the country illegally. All right, what is Pope Leo doing? My goodness, blessing a chunk of ice at some climate conference.
I would now like to invite you to stand for the blessing of the waters.
And there's a huge chunk of ice. It's about half the size of a human body, pretty wide. He walks up to it and blesses it, the ice. Has his hand on it. This was so weird. Arnold Schwarzenegger was there, and they all held on to this long blue tarp and waved it. All these people at this climate conference. Let me see if I can get some music in there. They show the ice dripping. Video. Wow. Rockies GM Bill Schmidt announced his resignation Wednesday. Rockies finished with one of the worst seasons in MLB history. 43-119. Schmidt has served in various capacities since 1999.
Hold on, his record was 43-119.
No, the Rockies.
Oh,
they
just
were
this last year.
Yeah,
okay.
This last season. 43-119.
Oh,
they won 43 games. Yeah, and we'll still go out to the ballpark. Keep on going. They'll find someone else. Good luck. Good luck to the next GM,
From 2022 through 2025, the Rockies compiled the worst cumulative record in baseball, consistently finishing last in the NLS West while posting a 231 to 417 record.
We're number one.
A winning percentage of .357.
Yeah, we suck.
Oh, it's a great place to take the
His tenure includes 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons.
It's embarrassing. Should we even be a Major League Baseball team at this point? Again, this is why I argue for relegation. I argue for relegation. That would fix this problem a lot. When the big fat cat owners realize that those giant TV contracts dry up because your team sucks, yeah, they scramble. All of a sudden, winning becomes somewhat important. It's very interesting how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
that
again,
is true. They'll get their priorities
as Blake outlines, Coors Field is a wonderful venue that's basically a food court where they also have some sideline entertainment of baseball that sometimes happens. That's it. That's all it is. It's a wonderful night out where you can go and drink and have food with your friends. And also, there is a floor show. It's no different than dinner theater, except that the Rockies don't come up and ask you for your order.
Right.
That's all it is.
That's right.
Yes, Coors Field is now dinner theater.
And Cubs fans and Cards fans and Yankees fans and Dodgers fans who live here, they love it. They get to see their teams,
best things in the world.
Yeah.
They go see their team in an amazing ballpark in an incredible setting with fantastic
for like
food.
$5.
Yeah, and they know they're gonna win. Yeah,
right. Exactly. Get great seats.
Exactly. How this is beautiful. No wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get to see the sunset.
Yep. It's incredible. I saw something in
Rockies.
this is how bad our team is, okay? I saw something in The Onion about 3 weeks ago, okay? This is The Onion, which is a national publication that is satirical. And in the sports section, it said, scalpers now raising the price of Rockies tickets to $11.
That's funny.
When The Onion is mocking us nationally about how we suck, that tells you exactly where we are. That tells you exactly where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of advantages to have a losing team. I mean, you can find the best seats. And
dude, all my friends from New York, like all my radio friends that are here that are either, this is the weird part, okay? A lot of my radio friends, few of them Yankee fans, a lot of my radio friends Mets fans, which I think explains a lot about radio people. Just the idea of us picking losers all the time. So, okay, now all my fans that are New York radio people love it because when the Mets arrive, they're like, I can get amazing tickets. I could never see sit here in New York, and they're like, and we win. This is wonderful.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they love
Don't
the
have to
experience.
deal with the humidity
None
and
of that.
traffic and, but you have to deal with the homeless people just like they do in New York.
Exactly. But they know how to deal with them
outside the
already. They
stadium.
just insult them, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm walking here. Yeah,
man.
exactly.
All right, so Billy and Jeff will try to figure out who the next GM is for the Rockies. Niners at the Rams tonight. It all comes down to football. Football season, once it kicks off, nobody cares anybody anyway. NFL back tonight. 2 3-1 teams back in action this evening. 50 in Centennial, 49 in Superior, 51 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area calls for late summer rather than early fall-like weather conditions today into Friday, as we're going to be looking at temperatures a good 10 to 12 degrees above average, mid and upper 80s for highs. Sunny, dry conditions, mid-50s tonight, 70 Saturday, 60 Sunday, weekend showers. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Bill, you remember that Des Moines superintendent?
Yes, I do remember him.
Our friend that was running around with guns, cash, knives in his car.
Yes.
Busted
yes,
by
I do remember him.
ICE.
Yes.
Well, apparently he never completed his doctoral degree.
What? He never completed it?
The Des Moines Register.
Oh, jeez.
Des Moines superintendent did not receive the doctoral degree he frequently claimed. The superintendent of the Des Moines Public Schools did not obtain a doctoral degree from a Maryland university he had claimed for many years. Ian Roberts, who was arrested by ICE on Friday, September 26, now facing deportation, has long stated that he received a doctoral degree, if I remember correctly, in urban education from Morgan State University in Baltimore, but a university spokesperson told the Des Moines Register that Roberts did not obtain a degree from the school despite attending the school from 2002 through 2007. So he's going to school for 5 years.
Jeez.
Never got it. Spokesperson for the school, who did not provide their name, wrote in an email that Roberts pursued a doctorate in urban educational leadership. Roberts had claimed several times that he completed the doctoral degree program at Morgan State, including in a 2009 self-published book, Prisoners or Presidents, the simple things that change everything when principles lead like lives depend on it. Des Moines Public Schools used similar language in a November 2024 article on its website about Roberts' induction into the Coppin State University Athletics Hall of Fame. Roberts excellent academically and completed educational programs at Coppin, St. John's, Morgan State, Harvard's Graduate School of Education, Georgetown School of Business, and an MBA at MIT's Sloan School of Management.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, right. I know. That's a lot.
That is a lot. But again, I had no idea that we could so freely lie on our resume. I got to start applying for different jobs because if we can just lie and nobody's checking, I'm going to start inventing a whole bunch of stuff. Yes. I got a lot of things here that I'm going to add to my resume.
Comment of the day on the article. Dear Iowa School Board, I am a prince from Nigeria. I have 7 PhDs. I was the administrator for the Royal Court of Swahili and was awarded His Majesty's Medal. I am proud to be your next superintendent. Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. He should have just said, I also recently won the lottery, and I just need help getting the money out of the country. That's okay. Now, what we've seen so far in this with the Iowa school superintendent is one, failure to figure out whether or not he was actually in the country legally to work, and then 2, failure to check his credentials. Who's checking this, and what are these companies? Because I understand they farm this out to a third party. Who's doing this? How do these companies stay, in business? The other part is this. Okay, we have lamented on this show that the hiring process right now, if you're looking for a job, is just flat out broken. It is broken. Those job websites, mostly worthless.
Yeah.
The job postings that you have on company websites, a lot of them completely and totally worthless. The screening process, normally done by electronics, which means usually that is dependent upon the keywords and the search items they put in, not looking at your experience or resume and then seeing if someone could understand how skills cross-apply. If you don't put in the 3 magic keywords, even if you are the best possible candidate with 20,000 years experience, you get rejected. Yeah, I even had a friend that went through a job interview recently where the interviewer was AI. They were asked questions by AI and given a chance to respond through video. You could review your video answer and then re-record if you wanted. That was the interview process. Do we really think we are going to be finding the best employees when we are going through the search process this way? Look what just happened when they're trying to hire a superintendent in Iowa. I'm just guessing that might require, just maybe, might require a bit more due diligence than hiring a restaurant worker or someone that's a talk show host. Just saying that if you're going to hire a superintendent and the screening process fails on this level, what in the hell are we doing? If you're out there and you're struggling to find a job, here's the thing. It's broken. It is broken. And this shows it. You think it's difficult finding a job, it's because the system we've set up is just ass backwards. We got a guy that's not qualified to do the job that gets a job as superintendent in Iowa after getting a previous superintendent job. So somebody else also failed their job screening.
$200,000+ a year, too.
Yes.
Bill, you're going to love this.
Oh, goody.
You want to know what his undergrad is in?
Oh, jeez. Please. If it is not in soccer coaching, I'm going to be disappointed. No, what is it?
Criminology.
Maybe that's why he knew. He's like, I know exactly the rules that I can break. This is great here.
Criminology.
Oh,
Ian Roberts got a degree in criminology. Now, Des Moines has also reached out to Harvard, Georgetown, and MIT, but they have not responded regarding those credentials.
Here's the ridiculous part. I am old enough to have been in the workforce to where there used to be a human that would call and verify some of the stuff on the resume. I have been the person on the totem pole at one point who had to do that. So I understand. Yeah, it's a little bit of a time suck, but you get to have a personal conversation with another individual on the other end and verify whether this individual did what they say they did. The computers seem to not know that. This is a problem, and part of it is because we don't want to go through the process of actually verifying this ourselves. We want the AI and the computer to do it, which, again, is only as smart as what we program it to do. And we've seen how well that's working. The school district, it's farmed it out to a third party.
Yeah,
and they still failed.
For me,
Still
after
failed.
Lehman Brothers, third-party fact-check review things, I just... Sorry, I got burned pretty bad on the guys that were supposed to be making sure that the mortgage bundling that was taking place in the mid-2000s were just collecting cash under the table and passing it on.
Yeah, so here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great. That's just wonderful. Again, I've got to update my resume this afternoon because
George
there are a whole lot of
Brockler-
things I'm going to invent.
George
Who knew that I
Brockler
was
pointed
an
out,
astronaut in training? Who
why
knew?
was this guy allowed to resign
Yeah, that's a good point.
at this point?
Yeah, that is a good point because he should have not resigned because that's different on your resume. And I know that especially in the educational system because a person that I know that works as a teacher had a school supervisor get fired for, let's just say, moral turpitude, doing some naughty things while in the position. And after you got fired, they couldn't get an educational job anywhere else in the state because of that on their resume. So that is important. And I think that if this individual, this superintendent, committed the fraud on this level about degree and immigration, why would you want to protect any future employer? That's the thing that I don't understand. When you go ahead and fire this guy, you are putting a red flag and you're helping any other potential employer. If you let him resign, you're providing cover and allowing him to lie to the next school district, the next group of teachers, the next group of people down the road. So you're an enabler.
Well, and I don't want to say that lying on your resume directly leads to arming yourself with a gun, hunting knife, and $3,000 cash while serving as a superintendent in a public school system, but they seem a little linked, right? That if you're willing to lie about your resume, you might be willing to do other crimey things.
The other part is that if you're lying about your resume, then who I'm seeing on that piece of paper and who I'm hiring isn't who's in person, who I'm hiring. That's the issue for me.
In charge of 30,000 kids.
That's exactly for me, is that those lies on the resume, I'm not hiring who you say you are. So what the hell? Regardless if it's this little lie, this giant lie, it's just not the same thing. So again, I've got to update because who knew that I also am involved in some cancer research right now too, because evidently that's going to go on my resume this afternoon too, because nobody checks.
Breaking news coming through on the Daily Caller. They have hired a new superintendent for Des Moines School District, Tay Anderson.
Yes, exactly. He's going there, yes. And what he is most concerned about is all those very, very slippery surfaces outside the schools. All those stairs, that asphalt, those, that sidewalk, those are dangerous surfaces. You could go down at a moment's notice. If someone just accidentally touches you, you could fall. Those are dangerous, dangerous surfaces. That's going to be his first thing. He's going to create safety around that.
We'll continue. Lots more to talk about, including the meme battles. Sombreros v. Kittens coming up next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
What timeline are we in? This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
to the Jeff and Bill Show. Have you seen the battle over the government shutdown on social media? Republicans putting Hakeem Jeffries in sombreros and mustaches, and Democrats calling it bigoted, racist. The Republicans doing it because they're making the argument that the funding that the Democrats want out of this government shutdown battle is going to go to provide health care for illegal immigrants. Democrats say, no, that's not the case, but that's why Hakeem Jeffries is being placed in sombreros, and Democrats calling it bigoted. Do you think it's bigoted?
No, I really don't. I mean, I see what they're trying to do, and I see why they're making fun of them, but I mean, you juvenile little dummies. The thing for me is that the Democrats, in some ways, could have Tai Chi'd or judo flipped this. They could have gone ahead, and I'm going back to the Austin Powers. Oh, judo flip! So the idea being they could have done something rather than fighting back and going, because the worst thing they did was when the Democrats came out and said, you're hurting our feelings. That was the point. You missed that. And so as soon as you sit there and start going, you're hurting our feelings, they're going to keep doing it. Of course. So what the Democrats should have done is embrace it. Now, if it was me, I would have honestly leaned into it and probably held a press conference with a mariachi band and handed out breakfast burritos to everybody there in the press corps and had this conversation. And what I would have talked about is the idea that, and this is where I would have taken it, I would have gone, hey, everybody, the Republicans are saying that we're trying to do this. No, we're not. Let me outline this, and this is why we care about it. Yes, it's cute that they make us all. I would show up in a damn sombrero. I don't care. That's what I would do. If I could get Juan Valdez and his donkey with me as well and the coffee beans, yes, 110%. I would go hard into it because once you lean into it, you take away the power of the bully to make fun of you.
I think you're exactly right. Do you find it funny, though, that Democrats are always claiming any time of cultural appropriation as racist? Like one of the funniest videos was when Will Witt walks around UCLA dressed with a sombrero and a really exaggerated Mexican mustache, and all the college students are like, that's cultural appropriation. Yeah. That's racism. You need to take that off. They're very serious about that. And then he goes to a Mexican part of town, and they all think it's great. Yeah. They love the fact that they're like, yay, you're one of us. And they're having fun, and they're eating food and all that stuff. Is there something to it? Oh, yeah. They went after Aunt Jemima and Land O'Lakes. It seemed like they only took off people of color off these packages and left the Quaker Oats guy.
Yeah, it's for me. There are two things inside of this, and that's what the Democrats don't necessarily realize is anytime there is something like a meme or something like the guy that's walking around in the sombrero and the exaggerated mustache, there's context inside of it, and you have to realize that what is the purpose or intent of the individual doing it. And then you do also have to take in the idea of who's receiving it, who's on the other end, and how it can be interpreted. And yes, in any sort of situation where there is satire or comedy, hurt feelings can and usually do happen at some level. So I feel that many times that's baked into it. I feel that the Democrats, more times than not, exaggerate that injury to a community, and they don't understand the context or the nature of what's going on. And that's where I think they miss some of the satire and comedy, and they give it too much power. Because as soon as you get offended and you say that it hurts you, now that image, that action now is greater and has a heck of a lot more impact on the rest of your life. I tell my kids all the time that it is your friends, it's your family, and yourself that defines you. Everybody else outside of that, who cares? That individual that makes fun of your shoes on the bus, or that person that makes fun of your T-shirt on the playground or in class, doesn't matter, because Dr. Seuss said it. Those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. That's it. That's it. Is they're taking, in too many cases, they're taking what is satire comedy or even sometimes mocking and making it way too personal.
I agree with you. And I think the best response is like what you saw with Charlie Kirk and South Park.
Yeah.
Right? Where they're calling him the master debater.
Yes.
And mocking him, and he fully embraced it. In fact, he made it his his image there, because he had so much fun with it. I don't know if you see this. I see it, and it could just be because I'm not on that side. But it doesn't seem like the other side can meme all that well. So Gavin Newsom was trying to come up with J.D. Vance images that make him look like an Oompa Loompa, and it just didn't land. Like, it just wasn't that funny. And in fact, J.D. embraced it and made it even more exaggerated. They come out with a series of kittens battling over the bill in Congress. It just doesn't seem like the left can quite meme as well as Republicans can.
I would disagree. I actually think the left is a little bit better at it because the left is a little more in tune with some of the pop culture references and some of the things that go on in that world. Here's where they're bad. Most politicians are incredibly bad at it, just universally. They're bad at the meme responses. One of the ones I'll tell you that went wild for a while that was on the liberal side of things was babyface J.D. Vance. That went everywhere for a while. And we even saw stories about someone trying to use that as their passport photo crossing the border from Canada, kind of a thing. So there's a lot, but the responsive memes never really go over as well. The idea that, oh, you made fun of me in a meme, I'm going to meme right back at you with this. Those almost never work out well, regardless of who it is. And that's the mistake the Democrats are making at this point. But the idea being, I've seen more of the Democrats, if we had to do something on, let's just say K-pop Demon Hunters, chances are there are going to be more Democrats and liberals that would get the reference and be able to meme that than conservative Republicans. And if all of you listening to the show just went, the what?
Exactly.
Yeah, I rest my case. I rest my case. They have three of the top, that movie has 3 of the top 5 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. Yeah, it is culturally relevant, but there's a whole group of people that don't know what it is or why. So, but again, the responsive memes, I think they're awful at it, and I don't think that Democrat lawmakers are necessarily good at it. I think there are a few exceptions, AOC being one, but by and large, they are atrocious at it. And one of the worst people in the entire planet on doing memes is Chuck Schumer. He's an example of what not to do. Chuck's awful at social media. He has no idea what he's doing, and someone should take his phone away.
And the cheese off the cheeseburgers.
Yes. That's exactly the point. Yes. Just so bad.
We'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Unfortunately, Bill, not enough signatures to recall Amy Patton.
Oh.
Did you see that headline?
No, I did not.
Yeah, they ended up not getting enough signatures. They didn't turn in any, but if you remember, Amy Patton released the guy that ended up driving 90 miles an hour into and killing a 24-year-old woman. And the guy was like 15 years old, illegal immigrant, took his mom's car. There was like 5 crimes in the headline alone.
Yeah, and she was like, free pass.
Yeah. Probation.
Yeah. But really, they couldn't get enough signatures on that.
Yeah, it's a big mountain to climb. You had to get 75,000 signatures.
That is a lot.
Yeah. So
that is a lot.
They weren't able to do it. But we'll have to keep working to keep Amy Patton accountable. I mean, she ran. This is what I've always said about Amy Patton is that she ran as a progressive, weak on crime, criminal first, liberal. Like, if you go to her website, it's all that written right there. We put too many people in prison. We need to figure out ways to help them in the future and not just lock them away type of stuff. Restorative justice, social, progressive type of policies. So, I mean, it wasn't a shock that she kind of lets these people out. This is literally on her website.
Yeah.
And people were like, that's who we want to be our DA. So.
Yeah, and I think that as you roll into the next election cycle, et cetera, and constituents, I would suggest having a conversation about restorative justice for the victims as well. I think that might be a weakness in her approach so far. And the issue being the illegal immigrant, the idea that that person had probation. One of the things that I really, really respect at the core of my being about George Brockler is when he's looking at charging a crime, he's doing it for the victim. He's trying to be their voice to prevent this from happening. Now, does George take into consideration the crime, why it happened, who committed it, those type of circumstances? Yes. But his focus is on making sure the victim gets justice. And I think that is the weakness in what we are seeing Amy Patton's approach. She seems to be focused on the criminal and what she views as justice for them. And I think that's an opening. If you are looking to attack or bring her out of office or whatever it may be, I think that is your line of questioning and reasoning is what about the victim? And
I've been a victim.
Yes,
Granted, the crime wasn't terrible, but it hurt for 2 days. When I got assaulted down at the anti-ICE rally, and the way it's designed is that the state or the city or the county steps in, so I don't have to go down there and go, hello, Judge.
Yeah.
Judge, see this guy here? He kicked me in the back. They step in and go, we are going to seek justice on behalf of the victim. And I've said all along that Denver police, Denver city attorneys, and Denver victims advocates did a fantastic job. Like, they took it really, really seriously.
They really did.
And they got justice. I have no complaints whatsoever. And George does that as well. Now, the goal is, when you're getting justice, not to punish the guy in perpetuity forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll
be reasonable.
That'll be God's job when we die. But it is to seek a measure of justice to hopefully prevent those crimes from happening and give the person the opportunity to improve their lives moving forward.
Yeah, and there are... Okay, I could go on a huge rant right now on a side thing that makes me really mad about how we also don't do this, not just in the criminal justice system, but in the educational system. There are so many times that we do not hold these students responsible for the choices they make, whether that be skipping class, whether that be not turning in assignments, or even getting into fights in the hallway or in the parking lot over and over and over again inside the educational system. Those kids are not held responsible for their choices, and then we are surprised when they're outside of the educational system and they believe that everything else works that way as well, because their most recent interactions with anything close to being held responsible for bad behavior is in that system. So it's not unreasonable to assume that's how they view everything outside. And then we go ahead and we reinforce that in many cases. Yeah, it's a problem.
Well, recall elections have been added to the Colorado Constitution beginning in 1912. Records show there's only been one district attorney recall election. That recall election, which happened in 2005, was unsuccessful. So this was a tall mountain to climb. I appreciate Danielle Jurinsky putting the pressure out there. Hopefully the message was sent to Amy Padden. Ultimately, it's going to require an election to get Amy out, and I hope we'll have a better DA moving forward. But Amy Padden, at this point, continues her work as progressive DA of the 18th Judicial District. All right, Billy, speaking of inappropriate behavior never being held accountable for, you choose the news.
Yes, we're never held accountable for our questionable choices because at this time of the morning, nobody in charge is awake. Yes, we play America's favorite fake radio news game show at 6:50 in the morning here on 710 KNUS because no one's awake. I have spent mere moments going through the interwebs and trying to find stories about us humans, then giving them even more ridiculous headlines so that we can do this silliness, because why not? You know, when we are left unsupervised, as Jeff's parents and my parents learned during our teenage years, sometimes things can go sideways. But those are stories for another day. Wait until the statute of limitations expires. We still have a few years on those. Alrighty. Now, as always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Gentlemen, here are our choices this morning. Headline number 1, night-night juice. Headline number 2, don't feed the animals. Headline number 3, immigrants taking over. And headline number 4, angry. Mr.
I'm
Hunt,
angry.
Yes, I am angry. A woman in Kentucky, in Louisville especially, is accused of being very angry over her order of pizza. Yes, she's accused of damaging a Little Caesars restaurant after she learned the extra sauce wasn't free. Louisville police say that Brianna Haynes was arrested for criminal mischief. She called in an order to Little Caesars. When she came to pick it up, she asked for extra sauce. The worker explained there is an extra $1 charge. Police say that's when Haynes became irate over $1. So she decided to cause more than $1,000 in damage to Little Caesars. Surveillance video shows her knocking items off the counter, throwing things around, including the computer register, which is mightily expensive. Yes, over a $1 charge for extra sauce.
Sometimes it's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
$1. Like, don't you have that in your couch?
Crazy.
$1 just losing. Okay. So, side note, just for a sec here. We're talking about Little Caesars. Saw a dad the other day on social media talking about how he was getting his young 3-year-old to bed, and the 3-year-old said tomorrow she wants, Daddy, can we have Skittles fever? And they're like, what the heck is this? Skittles fever, what are we talking about? They get the other kids in to start talking to the baby, and the baby at one point starts going, baby getting very mad, because they don't understand what Skittles fever is, and she doesn't like candy. Finally, the 8-year-old says, no, what shape is it? And she goes, it's round and square. They go, what? And the 8-year-old goes, pizza? Are you talking about Little Caesars? And the kid goes, yes, Skittles fever. So
that's awesome.
After that, I think kids should be allowed to name everything.
Yes.
Skittles fever is much more fun. Okay, sorry.
Love it.
I love that story. Okay, now here we go. Blake, your choice, sir. Night-night juice, don't feed the animals, or immigrant take over?
I'm going to regret this, but night-night juice.
Night-night juice. Yes, you should. We are in India for this one. A generic cough syrup manufactured by a pharmaceutical company has led to the deaths of 2 children and at least 10 others that have been falling ill in just the past couple of weeks. This is absolutely horrible. Some batch of the cough syrup, which contained the compound dextromethorphan hydrobromide. It's manufactured by a company in India, and the deaths only came to light earlier this week after a boy of 5 years old died hours after being given the drug. That caused other families to go, wait, this is what happened to our kids over the past couple of weeks as well. Don't worry about this. Dr. Trakyard Yogi was there during a press conference to proudly declare that cough syrup is completely and totally safe. And just to prove it, he gave a dose to himself.
No.
And then passed out several hours later.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Passed out, fell
That's
unconscious.
When Hickenlooper drank fracking fluid.
Yes, exactly. The doctor was driving in his car, felt drowsy, parked on the side of the road, and fell unconscious. He was actually revived by EMTs. Ambulance driver also reported similar symptoms after being given the cough syrup by the doctor as well. Wow. So, yeah, the doctor said, no, this is perfectly safe.
Of course not.
Yeah, and no, it's not. No, not at all. Passes out himself. Okay, final choice this morning.
In India.
I know, exactly. What's quality control? Who cares? Okay, we got more than enough people anyway. Okay, now, Jeff, your question. So your choice, sir. Don't feed the animals or immigrant takeover.
Don't feed the animals.
Yeah, don't feed the animals. We find ourselves in California for this one. Parents in California community are concerned after they said their children were fed like zoo animals by a stranger through the fence at school. Yes, one of the students said, daughter's now afraid to go back to school after a man reportedly fed the kids grapes through the fence during recess. Just like at the zoo. He comes by and just feeding the kids grapes. Yes, through this chain link fence. I'm sorry, the visual's fantastic.
Craziness continues.
Yes.
You listen